Claus. Don't be sad, she's 15, the time had come. But I know what it feels like. I know it's hard when these childhood deities fall from grace, because I also had a really turbulent relationship with St. Nicholas as a child. And it all starts with this girl named Adeline. And Adeline was a girl in my first grade class, and her breath was putrid. And her last name was right before mine in the alphabet, which was my personal tragedy, because every day after recess we would line up in alphabetical order for the teacher to take us inside and get a drink from the water fountain. And we were allowed water for 3 seconds. The teacher would count down 3, 2, 1, and then she cut us off. So Adeline would go right before me. She would wrap her entire lips around the spout, just consume the entire thing like a snake swallowing an egg. And the teacher would count down 3, 2, 1, and then she would unhinge her jaw and release herself from the spout. And then it was my turn. But the water was different now. It tasted raw and gamey, like bad meat. But those were my 3 seconds, so I gulped it down. But eventually I started to resent Adeline for her breath. I would have these horrible thoughts about her. Like one day she peed her pants and I was thrilled. And then whenever I saw or smelled her, I would think, I hate Adeline, I hate her. And listen, I was a very quiet kid. I was not a bully. I would never say this out loud. But I did start to worry that maybe St. Nicholas could hear my thoughts. And what if he heard my inner demons and then put coal in my stocking? So finally, I went home and I said, hey Mom, is Santa real? And she said, no, he's an allegory. And so that was a relief. And so the next day at school, I walked up into recess, I gathered up some other first graders, called them over to the dark side of the playground, and I said, hey, I've got some new intel. The Tooth Fairy isn't real, the Easter Bunny isn't real, Santa isn't real, and neither is God. And somehow Santa got the most backlash. I had actually been an atheist since the age of 4, because at the age of 4 I had a constipation problem, and so I would sit on the toilet and say, Jesus, you better fix this for me, and those prayers went unanswered. So at age 4, I did what some people take a lifetime to do. I deconstructed my childhood religion, and I turned towards science and prune juice, which helped me. And listen, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to use God or Santa Claus as an incentive for good behavior. But I do think that the incentives that were used in my middle school to instill morals in us were a little off color. To reward us for good behavior, they would have us write our name on these little slips and put them into a drawing. But the prize that you could win through the drawing was to duct tape the principal to the wall. And you weren't just taping him against the wall, he was elevated a couple of feet, so he was hovering. And he was just bound at his wrists and ankles, restrained and powerless, and his arms and legs were entirely spread eagle. And it began to feel like our reward was the principal's degradation. I don't think I learned kindness or honesty, but I did learn that teachers like to be bound and humiliated. And on that topic, I think we need better sex ed. And I'm not saying that in a progressive way, not trying to reduce teen pregnancies, not trying to prevent STDs, fuck that shit up for all I care. I'm just trying to make it less embarrassing. Because I'm happy with all the advancements in sex ed, but I feel like they've always got the weirdest fucks teaching it. They'll always have a super soothing voice and want you to experiment with pleasure, or they whip out sock puppets to teach you about boundaries. And where are they finding these people? Have they ever had sex before? Because I don't think they've had enough experience. Maybe the GOP is right. Maybe teachers are unqualified, because these teachers have not been fucking. And they always have really weird terminology for sex acts, like anal is ass play. Ass play? Really? Since when was this a game to you? When was it allowed? And then a hand job is hand play. Hand play. Are we gonna go upstairs and double this, double. I hope none of you play hand games this Valentine's Day. Remember, all you need for good loving is duct tape and a wall. So, happy Valentine's Day, and next